brought to you by all my Patreon supporters. Go Team Awesome!
Yokoso peeps, it's Oz. Today I'm going to be talking about 10 tourist traps in Tokyo and 10 alternatives you should go to instead. Although there is still a worldwide pandemic and no vaccine has been found, a lot of countries have started loosening up and reducing their restrictions. And although Japan was in a state of emergency for about a month, we were quickly able to control everything, and now a lot of things are opened up like gyms, restaurants, movie theaters, and so on. Japan should be opening up its borders and letting other countries come for tourism. And if you are coming to Japan, most likely you'll be coming to Tokyo, the most famous, the largest, and the most populated city in Japan and in the world. I'm going to tell you about 10 tourist spots in Tokyo that I feel are kind of like tourist traps. And of course, I'll give you alternatives for those of you looking for something off the beaten path. Let me be clear about the actual list and why I call them tourist traps. I'm not saying they suck and you shouldn't visit them. I'm just saying that you can probably get a cheaper and more unique experience if you visit the alternatives on my list. By the way, you'll be seeing a lot of clips of the places that I mentioned, both in the tourist trap section and in the alternative section. And most of those videos are on my YouTube channel, on videos I've made of the places I've been to. So I'll leave a list of all the videos mentioned in this video in the information section. Anyway, let's get to the list. So Tokyo Disneyland is obviously a very famous and popular destination for people. About 30 million people visit Tokyo Disneyland and Disney Sea a year. They're open all year round and they're always busy no matter the season because there's always some kind of special event or parade or something happening in the park. And no matter what time of year, it's always packed as well. So you'll be waiting a long time for attractions. And of course, with the reopening after coronavirus, it's gonna be a little bit less crowded than before, but because of all the different restrictions they have, you'll still be waiting a long time. There's limited entrance, there's social distancing, you're not allowed to hug any of the Disney mascots, and the price for just one day for one adult is 8,200 yen, which is about $80 to $85 US. That can get quite steep if you're going with a big family. If you're a Disney fan, you probably won't be swayed, but if you're just looking for a fun, family-friendly adventure place where there's a lot of attractions and a lot of things to see and things to do, then there's a lot of other places that I recommend other than Disneyland. Instead, go to Odaiba. Odaiba is not an actual theme park, but it's a theme area where there's a lot of things you can do, not only for families, but for couples and just in general for every age group. And almost everything is at a fraction of the cost of Disneyland. Plus, it's a really pretty area. There's a boardwalk, there's a replica of the Statue of Liberty and a bridge, and there's even a giant Gundam statue. Some of the popular things that you can do in Odaiba is to visit the indoor amusement park called Joypolis. There's Legoland and Madame Tussauds Wax Museum, which features not only Hollywood and world figures, but also specific figures, celebrities, musicians in Japan as well. There's a Japanese Edo period style trick art museum as well. There's the Toyota car showroom with the latest technological products, a Ferris wheel, kids play area that has rides and games, a science museum, and the famous TeamLab Digital Mapping Museum, which is a very trippy place for that super Instagram friendly person. And along with that, there's a variety of shopping malls and complexes, restaurants, and game centers. There's even a public bath. This is probably the most well-known and popular attraction for foreigners who come to Tokyo. It's located in Kabukicho in Shinjuku. Not only because of the vivid and blinding neon lights and giant female robots that stand at the entrance, but because of the odd concept of blending a restaurant and a robot show. But unlike the medieval times dinner show kind of version where there's actually decent food along with the dinner show, the robot restaurant doesn't really have proper food. They sell light bentos, alcohol, snacks, and food I would say that's similar to like a baseball game. The restaurant in the robot restaurant title is a bit misleading. I would say it's more of a robot show. And although the show is unique and bold with eccentric robotic floats and girls in cosplay dancing to techno, the show is short and has way too many intermissions selling snacks and goods. And the price for this 90-minute show is 8,500 yen, so it's about $85 to $90 US. That's more expensive than Disneyland, and it's only for 90 minutes. Instead, go to Kagawa Dinner Show. Located in Roppongi, this dinner theater has a very interesting and rare show featuring ninjas, samurai, geisha, and oiran themed dancers. It's a mix of traditional and modern cultures, as well as Japanese and Western influenced music. This dinner show has amazing choreography, costumes, music, and dance. The performers are really professional and they greet you both before and after the show so you can take pictures with them as well. Actually, I got to hang out with them after the show because my friend that I went with was a VIP guest. And the restaurant has different options, including including an all-you-can-drink and all-you-can-eat buffet style as well. And the all-you-can-drink and eat plus the show is still cheaper than the robot restaurant. Golden Gai is a small network of alleys filled with drinking establishments serving a variety of Japanese alcohol and traditional Japanese bar food in Shinjuku. The narrow alleyways are filled with over 200 bars and eateries, each with a unique and charming design. Walking through the streets is definitely a fun and interesting experience and a good chance to get a glimpse of Tokyo of the past. But because of the amount of people, the lack of space in the bar, and the narrow alleyways, it's hard to find a table or a place that's open, and it's also impossible to social distance. And many of the places have seating charges, so it can get quite expensive, and the drinks itself are also pretty expensive. When I went there with my friends, I had one whiskey and it was about 800 yen, so about $8. Instead, go to Shimokitazawa. Shimokitazawa is a very trendy but hip old school Tokyo neighborhood that has a variety of vintage clothing shops, jazz and coffee bars, bohemian restaurants, and beatnik art galleries, museums, and live houses. It's a lot more spread out and it's easier to navigate. You'll see tons of young Japanese people sitting at cafes or sipping on some craft beer. And there's always a lot of Japanese people relaxing and enjoying some local music at the live houses as well. It's basically a hipster heaven, and it's funky and it has a very interesting architecture and old-fashioned look to it, just like Golden Gai, but with a lot more space. There's a wide variety of restaurants and bistros serving Japanese, Western, vegetarian, and unique food. When I went there, I tried a restaurant that served deer soup curry. There's also a place called The Cage, which is literally a cage by the station. Many cool people hang out there at night, and they even have a pop-up bazaar where people can drink and shop for trendy trinkets. The crowd is mostly Japanese and everyone is pretty laid back. So going up the Skytree is a bit expensive, it's usually crowded, and there's always a lot of tourist groups that are there and they're always blocking the windows. There are two observation decks. The main one is 350 meters high and the higher one is 450 meters. It'll be about 3,000 yen or about $30 to go all the way to the top. I don't recommend going to the top, but I definitely recommend going to the bottom section. It's actually really nice. The bottom of the Skytree area is called Solamachi, and it has a lot of different restaurants, shops, cafes, and a lot of interesting things to see and do. There's even a really nice aquarium. So if you go, I would say stay on the ground. To get a view, I would definitely recommend to go to the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building instead. When I first went to this place, it was completely dead. There was no one there. However, due to word of mouth and popularity, it's now pretty busy. There are lineups, but the good thing is there's two different buildings, so you can choose which building you want to go to, and the lines go pretty fast. And the best thing about this place is that it's free. Yes, that's right. The charge to go up is free. The elevator takes you to an observation deck of 202 meters. So although it's not as high as the Tokyo Tower main observation, it's still really good view and you can get a good panoramic view of Tokyo City and beyond. So unlike Skytree, which is like a hollow tower, you only have the observation around. The entire floor of the Tokyo Metropolitan Building is open, so it's a lot more open and free to walk around. There's a lot of windows and a lot of places to take pictures as well. There's even a cafe and gift shops as well. It's open from 9:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. so you can get both a day view or a night view. I recommend going like early evening so you can kind of get the sunset view. Another popular destination in Tokyo you're most likely going to go to is called Asakusa, specifically the Sensoji Temple. And along the route to that temple, you will notice a street in the center that takes you right to the temple. On either side, there's all these shops, and that street is called Naka Mesa. And you can't miss Naka Mesa because it's the main central street where all the people are walking, like my sister did with her kimono rental. The shops on either side include a whole bunch of food stands that sell a variety of sweet and savory snacks, souvenirs, boxes of cookies, cake. The shops and stands have been operated for generations and sell a variety of traditional and Japanese style goods, from kimonos, charms, origami, fans, decorations, souvenir t-shirts, and so on. And although walking the street is quite a treat because of the atmosphere and all the looks of the shops and the people in kimonos, unfortunately the shops themselves are not very good quality and are very overpriced. Also, because it's so crowded, all the shops are really small and narrow, and it's hard to get a good look at a lot of the products. And the shop staff is also pretty frustrated and fed up as well, so you probably will be ignored until you go to pay. Instead, for shopping, go to Ame-yoko. Ameoko is a district located across the street from Ueno Station and is just as crowded as Naka Mesa at times, but offers more variety at a lower price. And it's more than one narrow street. It has many inner arcade streets as well as many more paths to choose. With an open air market that resembles a bazaar, you will find vendors yelling out sales and specials. The shops, they sell fresh seafood and dried goods, jewelry, clothes, shoes, candy, sports goods, souvenirs, and electronics. There's definitely much more options for authentic Japanese stuff here in Ameoko. There's izakayas under the bridge, there's stalls with Japanese, Korean, Chinese food, as well as kebabs and fruits and a whole bunch of other street food to eat as well. And the best part I think about Ameoko for the shopping is that you're allowed to bargain. Ameoko, they're always discounting everything and there's no shame in bargaining down prices. And if you want a break from shopping, there's restaurants, there's an amazing zoo and a park and a pond where you can ride swan pedal boats. A business area in the day, Roppongi is a popular drink and nightlife area in Tokyo. It has a variety of bars, lounges, restaurants, and drinking establishments for the numerous foreigners roaming the streets looking to enjoy the night. And many establishments have become known to be quite seedy and unsafe. And many Nigerian-owned bars have the bar vendors who stand outside trying to lure people into the bars. Most likely you'll be overpaying at these bars or getting substandard service. And I've also heard stories of a lot of people who go to these bars and sometimes they get overly drunk or they get drugged in their drink and they just get robbed or their credit card is stolen or maxed out or whatever. So I would recommend to avoid those places. Instead, go to Shibuya. Although Shibuya is a busy hub that has the famous intersection, the club and bar district are still safe and reasonably priced. There's also a very wide variety of different kinds of establishments, so it depends on your tastes and your age as well. So Shibuya has like these mega clubs that are really good for those of you who like EDM or club music or DJ kind of music. There's also many big and small live houses to catch world famous or locally sourced bands or indie musicians as well. And those looking for bars, Shibuya has a variety of pubs, izakayas, sports bars, small wine bars, and sake stands as well. Also, the crowd is very mixed. There's some foreigners, but there's also a lot of local Japanese people as well. The crowds tend to be younger, especially at the clubs, but everyone is friendly and fun, so it doesn't really make a big difference. If you've watched Kill Bill and you remember the scene that Uma Thurman goes to dressed in yellow at that cool izakaya location, and she just goes crazy and kills a horde of Yakuza kind of people, then you'll remember and you'll recognize the restaurant Gonpachi. Quentin Tarantino actually designed his set for that scene based on the restaurant of Gonpachi. The restaurant is a large, wide-open, multi-floor izakaya that is decorated with tatami mats, traditional Japanese lanterns, paper walls, and wooden tables. The food resembles traditional Japanese food like soba and tempura, but also has some newer modern dishes as well. And although the restaurant will definitely remind you of the famous movie scene, the price, taste, and quality of food is just okay. Hanbey is definitely a cheaper and cooler alternative to Gonpachi. Hanbey is a chain restaurant with locations around Japan, but this izakaya is decorated in Showa era posters and memorabilia. The music is traditional Japanese music from the era, and the seating and private rooms are created to resemble old living rooms or restaurants of that time. Even the food choices include a variety of nostalgic and Showa era foods at Showa era prices. You can literally fill yourself up with Japanese food with prices that start as little as 70 cents per item. I've been there tons of times, and each time I go there I always try something new and delicious. A popular item on the bucket list of many people coming to Japan is to visit a Maid Cafe in Akihabara. Since the first Maid Cafe opened in Japan in 2001, hundreds have popped up all across Japan and even in countries around the world. Maid cafes feature young women dressed in maid outfits who welcome customers as if they are their masters returning home. They provide cute, designed food and drink and sing little chants and charms to provide a kawaii atmosphere similar to something you would find in a Japanese anime or manga. The maids chat with the customers, they play games, they sing songs on request, and take Polaroid photos as souvenirs as well. You can actually see the entire maid experience, including an interview with the maid, in my video. And although the idea of a maid cafe seems unique and interesting, it does cost a lot of money. There's usually an entrance charge and a time limit. The actual food and the desserts are also very expensive. And for all the games and services they provide, you pay for each of those separately as well. Pretty much expect to pay about $20 to $30 per 30 minutes that you're there. You'll find that most maids don't speak English, so pretty much you'll be sitting around watching cute maids talking to a whole bunch of Japanese otaku nerd guys who are regulars there. To get a better atmosphere and enjoy better tasting food, definitely go to a themed restaurant. There's a variety of different kinds of theme restaurants based on your taste. There are restaurants and bars like Lockup or ER, which are kind of haunted prison themed. There's a whole bunch of Alice in Wonderland restaurants with great decorations, and all the waitresses are dressed like Alice in Wonderland and they sing for you as well. And of course there's tons of cafes based on famous characters like Moomin or Pokemon or Gundam. And if you're looking for a more Japanese themed kind of restaurant, there's a ninja restaurant as well as a restaurant called Zao. Zao is a fishing restaurant where you fish for your own food and then it's served to you. For those of you who don't know what a host or hostess club is, the easiest description would be a place where you pay money to drink with a pretty girl or a cool looking guy. Both host and hostess bars are quite popular among Japanese businessmen and women who shell out a lot of money to have a conversation or flirt with a beautiful person. You can see a video where I talk about my first and only experience at a hostess club. The experience costs a lot more than it's advertised. There's an entrance fee that includes drinks and a time limit. Extending the time costs money, and usually you have to pay for the host or hostess's drinks as well. Plus, there can be other charges like giving them special tips or money if they sing karaoke for you. So when I went with my student, he paid for us, and the bill, we stayed there for an hour and the bill came to $180. Instead, go to international parties. Since Tokyo is so big and so cosmopolitan, there's tons of foreigners and Japanese people looking to party and meet new people. Whether for work or travel, many foreigners and Japanese are only in town for a while, so they don't have a group of friends to spend their free time. For this reason, Tokyo has so many different kinds of meetups and get-togethers. For a small fee, usually under $20, you can be part of a group of people who can drink or eat and get to know each other. And if you're shy or if you're alone, it doesn't matter, because since it's a scheduled group event, everyone is there for the same reason, so it's easier to talk and strike up a conversation with strangers. Also, the best part about it is, rather than having to pay to speak to people, those people, the Japanese people coming, are actually paying to speak to you, because the reason they're there at an international party is to try to speak English and try to get to know and make friends with foreign people. In fact, I used to go to international parties all the time. That's where I met a lot of my Japanese friends. And I'm not gonna lie, that's also where I got a lot of Japanese dates. It was much better than Tinder for me. In fact, all the friends that I dragged to these international parties are now married to these girls, and some of them have babies as well. You're welcome. I know a lot of otaku people's heads are going to be blown when they hear this, but I just think Akihabara is not all that it's cracked up to be. If you're just looking to gawk and awe at the giant anime posters and billboards of idols, maids, characters, and video games, then Akihabara is the place for you. Walking the main street, you'll find girls in cosplay handing out flyers, enticing you to enter their restaurant or cafe. There'll be loud anime music coming from the shops selling figures, manga, and Japanese subculture goods. So I see the appeal. Akihabara is the main pull for tourists who are huge fans of Japanese comics and animation, so the shops will tend to sell goods that are more expensive and mainstream. Instead, go to Nakano Broadway. Nakano Broadway is Akihabara version 2.0. It's located in Nakano, Tokyo, and clustered together in a covered arcade. Since a lot of the shops are all located together and are protected from the cold and rain, going from shop to shop or waiting in line to enter will be a lot easier. And you'll find that there's many more shops and different items available here because of the jumbled flea market style design of the area. Shops range from enormous anime themed department stores like Mandarake to small local custom shops selling unique collector items. You'll find manga, anime, idol fan goods, figurines, rare collector items, fashion, music, video games, cosplay, and game centers. Well, there you have it. Those are the 10 places that I think you should avoid and alternatives to those places. Have you been to any of these 20 places that I mentioned? Let me know in the comment section. Once again, if you're interested in any of the places I mentioned, then definitely check out the list below. It has a whole bunch of videos of all the places that were mentioned in this video. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, please thumbs up and subscribe. Also, if you'd like to support my channel for just $1 a month, you can be a Patreon and get tons of extra footage. And if you'd like to get a VPN and get 70% off and 1 month free, check out NordVPN and use my code OzzyAwesome. Finally, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos, because my videos are awesome. OzzyAwesome. Take care and see you next time. Peace. Hi, can you tell me where I can find the entrance? Hello? Excuse me? Do you know where the bathroom is? I need to use the toilet. Alright, never mind.